A respectful workplace is more than just showing common courtesy and avoiding lawsuits. It's about recognizing our coworkers' value. It means helping the people around us feel welcome and that their contributions matter. We don't have to like every one of our coworkers. That's unrealistic. But we do need to show everyone respect. Why? First of all, it's the right thing to do. But second, on a business level, it just makes sense. When people feel disrespected at their jobs, they become less engaged in their work. This can lead to all kinds of problems, including making more mistakes, taking more days off, and even more injuries. A disrespectful workplace is stressful and not nearly as productive or profitable as it could be. On the other hand, organizations in which people respect each other and their differences are more productive, innovative, and flexible. Communication between coworkers is better, turnover rates are lower, and their overall profitability is higher. Also, they're just nicer places to work. In today's world, we can expect to work with all kinds of people. Some will appear very different from us. Others may seem very much like us, but even these coworkers will have different experiences, opinions, and work styles. These differences can lead to tension and conflict. What we need to keep in mind, though, is that we all want to feel accepted for who we are. We want our opinions and our work to be taken seriously, and we want to be recognized for our skills and abilities. How do we create an environment that meets these needs? Essentially, it comes down to our daily interactions. Let's start by talking about actions that don't create a culture of respect. Rude behaviors include not saying please and thank you, leaving messes in shared areas, constantly being late to meetings, and being distracted by a phone while someone is talking. Behaviors that minimize people include not replying to emails, talking over coworkers, and dismissing someone's concerns. And then there are behaviors that intentionally make coworkers feel unwelcome. Excluding someone from important meetings, embarrassing a coworker in public, and passing off hurtful comments as just joking. Each of us could probably add more behaviors to the list. In fact, your organization's policies may spell out other specific behaviors to avoid. At minimum, these policies prohibit harassment, discrimination, as well as retaliation against people who report offensive behavior. But company policies don't always spell out the positive things we can do to create a culture of respect. Let's talk about what we can do in our daily interactions to show coworkers they are valued, welcomed, and appreciated. We can treat others how we want to be treated. It's a good starting point. Use common courtesy, clean up your messes, and be nice to others. We can get to know our coworkers. When we build personal relationships with the people around us, we're more likely to treat them better and work more easily together. We can be polite when communicating with others. Talk with coworkers as if they're professionals. Be aware of your tone of voice and body language when communicating. These signals play a big part in the message you're sending. They can even indicate something very different from your words. Crossed arms could show you aren't open to what the other person is saying. Tapping your fingers quickly could signal you're bored or impatient. When speaking or writing, avoid being sarcastic and always control your anger. Take a break to cool off before communicating with someone if you're tempted to be harsh or hostile. Reread emails and messages before sending to make sure you sound respectful. We can listen much more than we speak, and not just half listening while preparing what we're going to say in response. Deeply listen. Don't interrupt. Ask questions, then restate what you've heard. When someone feels like they're really being listened to, they're much more willing to try to understand your point of view. We can value other people's time and effort. Be on time and prepared for meetings. Don't interrupt coworkers when you know they're on a deadline and your issue can wait. Finish your part of a project on time so coworkers aren't waiting on you. And share information with everyone who would benefit, not just a chosen few. We can focus on being innovative and inclusive. If we're truly open to finding the best way of doing something, we'll want to hear other people's ideas. How can you practice being open-minded? Ask coworkers for input. Encourage different points of view. If a debate breaks out, embrace it as long as everyone stays polite. In meetings, make sure everyone gets a chance to talk if they want to, even those calling in. And don't forget to give credit where credit is due. If you use someone else's idea, let people know. We can be ready when conflicts arise, because they probably will. Conflict doesn't have to be a terrible experience, though. It can actually lead to creative solutions. It might even help us understand our coworkers better. Prepare for conflict by learning conflict resolution skills, such as active listening. Be willing to try to understand the other side. Listen with the mindset of, "I'd like to know more," versus, "I need to point out why you're wrong." It also helps to stop yourself from thinking you know why a coworker said or did something. Don't assume. Ask for an explanation in a neutral tone of voice. You may discover they had a good reason for their behavior. Creating a positive, respectful environment isn't always easy. Even in places where everyone is willing to put in the effort, there can still be slip-ups. You may feel disrespected by a coworker. Often, people don't intend any harm, but that doesn't mean the behavior shouldn't bother you. Briefly explain to the person what they did, then politely and firmly ask them not to do it again. If you see a coworker being disrespected, speak up. Not saying anything could make the offender think others are okay with the behavior and could encourage the person to continue. Standing up for coworkers sends a clear message that you value them and don't want them mistreated. If an incident is severe, such as bullying, abusive language, threats, or sexual advances, you may not feel comfortable talking directly to the offender. Instead, you could go to your supervisor and explain the situation. Contact your Human Resources Department, or your organization may offer an anonymous telephone hotline for reporting unwelcome behavior. All of us are responsible for our own actions. That means being alert to our coworkers' reactions. So what should you do if you think you've offended someone? The best policy is to be direct and apologize. Then make sure you don't do it again. Try to be open-minded if a coworker comes to you and says you were disrespectful. It takes a lot of courage for them to say something, so try not to get defensive. The interaction will be less stressful for both parties if you're willing to understand their point of view. Creating a culture of respect is an ongoing process, which means there's always room for improvement. One of the most efficient ways to improve is to look at your daily interactions. Ask yourself if you're creating an environment where everyone feels valued. Remember what it feels like to be heard, accepted, and encouraged. Then, set a goal to help the people around you feel that way too, one contact at a time.